Right, day 2. So I've got it on a engine stand, which I'm not quite sure how that holds all the weight, but seems to be there. So I'm going to get the sump off now, row bolts, and we've got a couple of what look like studs. So back of the engine now, third one in. Front of the engine, the front 2 there, and on this side just 1 on the front, and then all bolts around there. So let's have a look at the sump. I think this is a really good book, this one. It sort of explains it in a non-technical fashion. So I'm following that, lots of pictures. It is 20 years old, so the pictures are a little bit fuzzy. But back to the engine. Still dripping oil, that's been dripping all night now. So I've got all these bolts out, and I guess the studs that were in are just to locate the sump. If you're working upside down, that will be a help. So anywhere in the corners is probably okay for those. And they're all the same size, and I suspect this has been off before because I found one without a spring washer and one with a weird spring washer on it. So I'll take it off now. That looks quite clean. I expected that to be sludgy. And there's some gasket dew on there, so somebody's taken that off. But that's not bad. Here's some slightly worrying things. So being an older engine, it's got the split pins. Well, what we're looking at here, piston, no split pin in that one. This one here, half of it has broke off and the other half is rubbing on the crank. And that one down there, half of that one is broken off and the other half is rubbing on the crank. So if that hasn't come out with the old oil, better try and find those bits. There's the oil pump and pipes off. So on this end, 2 bolts with their own sort of like independent lock tabs, and then 3 bolts here. That's got its own little lock tab, but this one here, the lock tab forms part of this bridge, so this support here. And then there's a support under here, that one, which takes a little bolt there, 7/16 spanner on that bolt and a nylock, and that goes onto the 3rd main bearing. So just remember to put that back on when you're putting your bearings on and get it at the right angle. And I'd say that is a 10 o'clock angle, and this bit comes off at a right angle and a twist, and we're 10 o'clock. All the pistons out, just start to clean them up. Those 3 I've just washed in some paraffin, and then these 3 still need cleaning. I've tried on one or two to get a feeler gauge between the rings, and 3 thou I can't get in there, so that's good according to the book. This one's got, which one is it? This one. Sorry, this one here. Slight bit of scuffing on the side, which looks a bit weird. Now looking at these bearings, just wipe that off. Bit scored. And I'd say they're all, some are better than others. That one looks pretty okay. If we just have a look at the it's dark in here, isn't it? Now I should get this checked for ovalness, but is that scoring acceptable? Or do I need to get those ground and polished? So pulley off the front of the water pump, bit of a tap and that comes off, and water pump off. So these bolts, all the same bolts, 1/2 inch spanner. There's 3 studs and 7 bolts. And that doesn't look too bad. I can't feel any play in that in the pump there. So we'll come back to that. Trying to undo this this bolt off the crank, man, that is tough. And I chucked it off the crank with a piece of wood, and softwood wouldn't do it, so nice piece of hardwood, and that's put a nice groove in that. That was really tight. Anyway, that's loose now. And so this is what's come off the front of the crank, that big bolt. And then these 4 bolts, and I think these 2 bolts are just secured with shape-proof washers, although I only found one and that was bust. And then this, which acts as lock tabs for those 2 bolts. But is that supposed to be a lock tab for the big bolt as well? It wasn't doing anything really. Then this washer with a big washer with a chamfer on it. And then this pulley came off with this damper. Then on the left on the crank was this, and that fits into a keyway into that hub, if you like, and there's another keyway there onto the crank, and that needed a good belt with a piece of wood and a hammer to get that off. And then, so left on the crank we've got this is the key for that locates in there. Then I think we've got here, this is the oil seal, and I think that is a thrower. So now I should get off the main bearing caps, and I think we'll be free. Right, trying to get this front timing cover off now, and the engine's obviously upside down here. And in that order, these are the bolts that came out. So top two are the same. Then these are 9/16, these are 1/2 inch. And red paint if anybody's interested in that. That one from the very top of the engine with a bracket on, I can't remember what that's for, probably dynamo. And on the other side, so this will be your top one with a P clip on it, 1/2 inch. These are 9/16, and the last one, which that one will be the bottom of the engine, is a little bit shorter. And front cover off, so that seal that comes off with the cover, and there's a hole for the bearing there, which has stayed on the middle pulley. Is that the tensioner? Broken spring. That's not, that wouldn't have been doing a lot, would it? So it's fortunate this had come apart. So now I think I've got to undo this little bolt there, that looks like a 3/8 or something. Undo the tab on this, and that'll, I think the shaft will just come out one way. I don't know which way yet. That's a drive for the oil pump and a drive for the distributor. So after the timing cover is off, this spacer comes off, and then this thrower, and I've got to